There are many ways a site can be found. Sometimes you can find sites using satellites or Google Earth, survey, but in this case, the site of Bolores was actually known already. Some historians, local Portuguese historians, had written about it in the 19th century, so we have some records of the site at that point. But its precise location wasn't really known until about 1986, when local farmers were cutting some fields, actually leveling some land to plant vineyards. And in the process of leveling the land, they sort of cut through a part of the site, and bones started to come out of it. And the local archaeologists were contacted and were made known about it. And I was told more recently about the site when I was actually looking for a site to excavate a good, well-preserved burial site.
Were there any specific kind of questions that you were trying to answer when you were looking for a site?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good, what you're saying is an important thing, that we dig sites generally with a question in mind. We look for sites that we think will produce the kind of information that will help us answer the questions we have. So I first was interested in Bolores because I thought it would help us answer some questions about the engraved plaques that were being made by people at this time in Portugal and Spain. I thought the site might have well-preserved human remains and plaques. In fact, the dates suggested that that would be the case. However, no plaques were found, so I had to basically change my question. I realized the site wasn't going to address the plaque question, so I started to sort of think about it as a source of information about the kind of lives that people led at this time, and how their lifestyles might have shaped their health and their diet. So I basically was interested in the site to kind of better get a more detailed, nuanced understanding of people's lives during this time period.
And so, the people's lives at this time period, who was living at Bolores?
Mm-hmm. Well, Bolores is a burial site. It's basically a cemetery. So nobody was living there, and people were taken there after they died. The people that were buried there, at least 36 individuals we determined were buried at Bolores. There were adults and children and adolescents, females and males. And they appear to have come from the nearby settlement of Zambujal, which was used at a contemporary time, the same time as Bolores. And many of the artifacts that we find at Bolores are similar to those that we see at Zambujal. So a good guess is that many of these folks, if not all of them, once lived at the site of Zambujal.